Okay, it is live now. Hold on a second. I'm about to do something here. It's probably going to do the thing. And let's see. Just hold on a second. I'm testing something. And aha, it did what I thought. All right, can't blow things up the way that I like. At least I know this. So we'll just go with that. All right, what's going on? Thank you for coming out. A few things are going to change going forward. Made some decisions. I'm not going to go into it right now because I'm just going to stay on point. But you'll see a big difference in the channel going forward. What we're going to talk about today is how to be a salesman. So many people are looking at being in sales as some type of curse. I remember my first sales job, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I was selling final need products. I would get out and I would go and pretend to work. Would talk to people, didn't make it in because I was just like, oh my God, this commission thing, and I got to sell so many policies. I was just so looking at it from the wrong perspective because with their payout, if I had hustled, I could have been at well in the six figures my first year. But I didn't have the perspective and the mindset because this is why I'm doing this presentation, how to be a salesperson. You cannot look at making sales as a curse. You can't look at it as, oh, this is something that I must default to. The better to best salespeople in the world make the most money in the world. Let me say that again. The better to the best salespeople in the world make the most money. And the reason is they've gotten past that, well, I'm just doing sales because I can't do shit else. That's the thing. And many people are there because when I was doing 30 days to $2,500 and these tasks that were set up was to get people out of their space to go out and introduce themselves to other people because you're walking down the street, right? And you see this guy or you see this girl and they appear to be interesting. There are many people who are paralyzed with fear who cannot even go up and introduce themselves to that person. There's no money on the table. There's no product on the table, but there's pride and fear amply laid out on the table. And if you can't do that type of meet and greet with no money involved, you are going to mess up the sales process. You're going to create a great deal of problems for yourself going forward because you think there's something inherently wrong with what you're doing. And that's why it doesn't work. That's why when I was selling that stuff, I lie. When I was shamming, as we used to call it in the military back in the day, when I was shamming, I wasn't really good. I mean, I did a few and it was begrudgingly, and I almost felt bad by approaching people. It's like, well, my name's Glendon Cameron. Yeah. I know. I hate to bother you. I hate to bother you, but I work for this company and we have these products. No, I mean, I couldn't even get it out. No. And this was a position where you did a lot of door to door, knocking on doors, wearing a suit and tie and this hot jump. I mean, miserable. That's why when I put up the video, how to sell shit, when I'm saying do not sell some stuff you or don't like. Once again, do not mistake like for passion. I didn't like it. And the reason I didn't like it is I didn't understand it. I didn't really understand it because the way the insurance game works, you start a small agency, you get yourself a book of business, and you live off residuals. I was totally not listening to the guy that was trying to mentor me. Dude told me, he laid it out. He said, if you do this, you be at 80, 90,000 a year, about 2-3 years. You'll be in vacation in Jamaica or wherever the hell you want to go. Wasn't listening. But The first part of how to be the salesman is to understand, to embrace, and to accept that you are a salesperson. And there's nothing wrong with it. You want to get to the point where you walk up to someone that's like, hey, what do you do? I'm in sales. Really? What do you sell? I sell this. You have any needs? Well, if you don't know anyone, what about your friends? When it becomes that natural, that like second instinct to you, you're going to do well. You will never have to worry about making money again because sales skills are transferable. Say you're selling high tech stuff, that can translate to low tech stuff. Many people will not make the matriculation because it's like a step down. And that's something that we have a problem with in our society. When I was in the storage auction business, some of my friends looked down upon me because I was dirty. I was up in the truck. I was out of a truck. A lot of manual labor, cleaning, painting. And it's just like one of my friends was like, is that why you pick up those Mexicans? Because you work like a Mexican. And you know what? I said, thank you. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I have a great appreciation for Mexicans because you're right. They work very hard. It's a pride thing for them. They work very hard. I take that as a compliment. And it was meant to be a slur because anyone that works that hard is obviously stupid, lacking in other skills. And the thing is, what many people don't know, if you catch the average Mexican man who's been here for a few months, who's gotten out of some jobs, that man may have $2,000 to $3,000 cash on him that he earned. Well, let me say that again. You meet a Mexican who's been here 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and he's been able to get consistent employment, being out there. He may have $2,000 to $3,000 cash in his pocket at that juncture. Most of you do not have $2,000 to $3,000 cash in the bank, and you've been here your whole life. So that whole thing about the Mexicans and the little jokes and stuff, I'm like, I don't play that because I have many customers. I worked with a lot of these guys, and I'm not going to get into the immigration thing because this country was founded by immigrants. And anyone's like, oh, it's these immigrants. It's like, when you're talking about your Dutch heritage, your German heritage, your immigrant, but people look down upon that. And when you cannot embrace the manual labor or doing something different, because that was the most money I'd ever made in my life. I didn't see it as a step down. I saw it as a serious step up. And to a degree, I have not bought a storage unit since 2009. And I'm still making money from those experiences. That is very, very cool. But typically, to reorientate yourself, you may have to reposition yourself. And repositioning me, you have this job that you sit at a desk and you don't really do much other than push numbers and papers, and you want to get into the sales process, you may have to work in the warehouse. You might have to stand outside and introduce yourself to strangers. I have a friend, the cookie business person. She does 6 figures in her job. 6 figures in her job. And when she's selling her cookies, she's hauling tents around. She's getting dirty, sweaty. I talked to her one evening after she had sold some cookies because she went to an event and she was just broke down. She's like, I had this crazy project at work. But I made 12 dozen cookies, and that's what it takes. You may have to get dirty to come clean, if you know what I mean. So big part is reconditioning your mind to what's important and what's not important. Once you learn how to sell, you can sell yourself, you can sell the attributes of your children, you can sell your family, you can sell so many things because you understand sales is not a transaction, it's reciprocation of communication. When you get inside of that person to the point that you've communicated exactly what you want to communicate to that person, and they say, okay, here's my credit card, here's the cash, or hold up, I'm going to the ATM. You've communicated something to that person. It's a communication game. Many people think it's a manipulation game. It's a communication game because many people are afraid to be sold to, and they will not give you the information that you need to make the sale. Women are very good at this. You walk up in the bar, your name is Butler Beard Bartholomew, and you're walking in there with your beard and your swagger, and she's looking at you and she's like, I'm scared, because she knows you've got what she wants, but she doesn't trust you. So she keeps certain information secret. But if you're Bartholomew with the beard and you know what the deal is, you know how to solicit that information. That's what the sales process is. It's about talking to people, presenting to people, and finding those answers to push those emotional triggers, because all sales are emotional. Everything. It may be, I'm not spending any money so I can make myself feel proud because I didn't spend any money. Pride is an emotion. Many things that we pass on don't make fiscal sense, but emotionally, they make a ton of sense. That's why, Dan Ariely's book, Irrationally Predictable, is a good read. Get it. It's on Amazon. It's economical. So train yourself to be a salesperson, because someone got really, and another reason I'm doing this presentation, someone got a little bent out of shape. So it was like, I'm on eBay and I'm on Amazon and I'm a salesperson. No, the fuck you're not. If you're on Amazon and you're on eBay, you are a vendor. Going to get keywords and pay-per-click advertising and doing research to drive traffic is a mechanism of presentation. You're pricing the stuff at a certain way. You're a vendor. You're not a salesperson. Now, if you go ahead and take your widget or whatever you make and you open up your own website, and then you have to go through the conversions. It's like, why would people buy this? And then you have to create copy on your website so people would buy it. At that point, you become a salesperson because you're working much harder. And one of the reasons that eBay and Amazon are so difficult is because there are so many vendors. That's the problem. There's a lot of people in that vendor position because eBay and Amazon have the traffic. But if you go ahead and do the hard work of learning how to sell, learning how to present, reading books about copy, reading books about sales presentations, reading books about how to get traffic and build your own thing, there are people who are kids online who've done this who are making six figures. And some of these folks can't drink because they figured it out. So anytime someone tells me, I can't leave Amazon, I can't leave eBay, it's too hard, I'm like, you wimpy little bitch. It's out there. It is totally, totally out there. If you want it, you can have it. If you want to make money, if you want to actually increase what you're doing, if you want to really, really amp out and become someone that is worthy of the sales process, it's out there. It is totally, totally out there. And it is amazing what you can do. It is totally amazing what you can do. Excuse me. Once you learn the sales presentation, because essentially everything we do is a sales job. When someone runs for office, whether it's city councilman or the president of the United States, all of that stuff they're doing and all those town hall meetings and all of those newscasts and those debates, that is the sales presentation. And it's a very long-term sales presentation. And the thing is, if you can do anything, just part-time, you have a job, right? You have a hustle, go to the newspaper, Craigslist, and find 100% sales commission type job. And, just say for 90 days, I'm going to do this, part-time, whatever, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make these sales. When you get that first sale from pure hustle, you will walk home and grab your wife and kiss her like you never kissed her before. Or if you're a woman, you'll go home and your husband will be like, there's something different about her. It enhances your confidence because you did something difficult and you did it well. If you continue to run away from these things going, it's too hard, it's too difficult, well, I'll let someone else do that. And sitting on the side of the street with your hater pants on, they must have got lucky. They must have had the right father. They must have had a silver spoon in their mouth. No, they actually took action and your little wimpy ass did not. Let me just state once again, when I first started with sales, I actually sucked big monkey hairy balls. I mean, it was just like those monkey balls taste terrible. I know I'll hear a comment for making that graphic sexual reference, but I don't really care because of the salesmanship that I have created. I have my own economy. And there are many people, and I want to say thank you to you, and all these other people. I want to just thanks. I really appreciate it because you enable me to keep doing this because you appreciate the content, whether it contains hairy monkey balls or references to Boo Boo the cat. You keep this thing going. So really, really thank you. But if I wasn't a salesman, none of this would happen. None of this would exist. None of this would be possible because I'm going to give you the process of how I sold my first book. I sat down and I created a sales plan and I created projections. It wasn't even done. And I was just going off the esoteric knowledge of I knew how many people who came to storage auctions had no clue to what they were doing. They would see me buy a unit and spend $600 and go, oh, idiot, there ain't nothing in there but some junk. And I'm sitting there looking at a freaking Viking refrigerator still in the box, a $5,000 refrigerator, and I just paid $600. Even if I just kept the refrigerator and sold the other stuff, I sold that sucker for $3,800 on Craigslist. Yes, I did. They had no clue. So I knew there was a big need, and I knew that the economy was a problem because 2006, we noticed a shift, and that's when we still had the store in Stone Mountain. And my partner, I was like, we're bailing. Our lease is up. We're getting the hell out of here. And we moved everything to the warehouse. Everything came out the warehouse. All the eBay, and everything came out the warehouse. I noticed we got a new clientele. And this is why when I do my videos and other people are like, yeah, I don't want to hear about the economy. I don't want to hear about world events. I don't want to hear about all this futuristic technology. I don't want to hear about it. I just want you to tell me how to go find some shit that I can put on Fleabay or Amazon and get paid a lot of money and sit at home and watch TV. I don't want to hear anything about, research and analyzation and no, I don't want to hear about trends. I just want you to give me the information that I can use to be a vendor and make more money than my neighbor. By being analytical and looking at the economy, not so much as, ooh, the economy is bad. Looking at the economy, it's like, okay, it's 2009. I can't really do what I'm doing, but what do you know about the economy? We started getting a lot of formerly middle-class white customers coming into the warehouse buying bunk beds, mattresses, and stuff for their little kids. And why that is relevant, your kids are the most important thing in your life. You are not going to be buying that stuff for your little dears unless you have to. You are at a point in your life where you cannot do the things you used to do. So you are having to do this stuff. You have to. I took that information and I created a sales plan and I created a blog and and this is what's really funny about this story. That wasn't supposed to be the first book. If you're going to be a salesperson, and if you're already a salesperson, you already know this. If you have one prospect, you are screwed. If you have 10 prospects, you're still in the game because I don't care what you do, how you do it. Someone's going to cancel. Someone's going to get fired. The company's going to change direction. And they're not going to be able to buy your product. And it will not be because you were a bad salesperson. It's because conditions changed. When I was in sales and one of my mentors said, because he was in the office and I was kind of stressed, and he's like, what's going on? I was just like, I got these 2 customers. I got to close one. He said, you got a problem. I said, yeah. I was like, no, you don't have enough customers. He says, you need 10. Better yet, 15. Shit, 20. Get as many people in your pipeline as possible. And that anxiety that you're feeling and the ability that you can't go to sleep that night is going to go away because you'll lose one and you're like, okay, I've got 20. One just went away. I still have 19. But when you've got 1 or 2, when that 1 goes away or that 2 goes away, you are actually in a state of paralysis and anxiety. And that carries over to your sales presentation. You come off as that clingy, needy girl or guy. Hey, Mr. Customer, all touchy-feely. Can I get you coffee? You need a foot rub? They know you're desperate because you've got odor. You got Desperado cologne on, a Desperado perfume, and they can smell it. And they're very uncomfortable because your anxiety and discomfort is making them uncomfortable unless you are dealing with a shark across the table who likes blood. And it's like, I can press this little rabbit because this little rabbit needs some carrots. So at that point, not only are you going to get hammered, you're not going to make any money. So when I was working on the book, or this research, I had a relationship blog called Passionate Friday. I had a business credit mentor blog, and I had Urban Pack Rat because, once again, from the sales background, I needed more ponies in the race, and I worked on all of them very hard. But like the guy said in the blog post, it's like this one blog is just gonna just outshine the other ones, and it was Urban Pack Rat because I didn't want to write that book. My first book was supposed to be a novel about some historical stuff. I'm still going to write that book. Just don't know when, but I'm going to still write it. It wasn't even supposed to be the story. But once again, when you are a salesperson and a business person, you look at things from a realistic point of view. If many of you remember, the Apprentice, and there was this one girl. She's actually here in Atlanta. And they're up in Harlem. And I was watching the presentation, and she's like, I'm going to do all this stuff for the people of Harlem, all the people. I'm like, boo, that's not your job. That's not the mission. I knew from the way that she was walking and talking, she was going to lose because she had her perspective on the wrong place. She wasn't even focused on the task at hand. The people of Harlem were not going to be sitting in the boardroom saying, you get to stay or you're fired. Once again, completely clueless to what's really going on. So I'm sitting there, I was doing the relationship blog, and, I was like, meeting all the women. It was just like, yeah, I got this relationship blog. I'm working on this relationship book. Yes, the first book was supposed to be a relationship book. I interviewed 200 women. I was halfway done with it, and I had to make a very critical decision to abandon that book and start on another one. Didn't know that, did you? So that's how I jumped on. I wrote the first storage auction guide. It was a green book. It wasn't this many pages. I wrote that in 3 months. I had to go with the data. The data made the decision. My heart was totally somewhere else. And that's why I'm like, well, you people are like, oh, passion. No, I was real passionate about the relationship stuff. I had the blog and everything. It was cool. I was meeting cool people. I was able to go into a bar because I had a mission. And there was a table of 6 fine ass women drinking and talking stuff. Because I had a mission, I walked over to that table. And I said, excuse me, ladies, I got a question for you. And of course, they're used to someone's like, because they were all fine, every last one of them. I mean, every one of them was a 10. And they were always used to, that look in their eyes. I said, look, I'm writing a book on relationships, and I would like to interview you. Not tonight. I see you're having fun. And just get your contact information, and and they didn't let me leave. I was at that table for 2 hours. Got all of their phone numbers, Facebook friends, all of that, because I had a mission. So what I'm telling you is, if you're going to become a really good salesperson, have something that you believe in, because it will enable you to do things you've never done before, because that was my mission. I wasn't there to hit on them, even though I ended up dating 2 of them. Byproduct of a mission. So essentially, I had to turn away from that, which was my quote passion. But when I looked at the data and I looked at the landscape, all of this came from having a sales background. I used to go to stores and check out my other competition. My sales, I would meet salespeople, go to the store, look at them. I'm like, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. So because I was the salesperson, I was able to validate and look at things differently. So when it just got down to critical, it's like, okay, you made this deal. You got 2 years to get this done. It's not looking good, because with the relationship thing, you have to write a book that women are going to buy, because guys are not buying a relationship book. That's the reality. If a guy was going to buy a relationship book, it would have a title like this: How to Get the Pussy You Want, How to Fuck 7 Days a Week. Those books guys would buy. But hey, how to have a loving and happy relationship? Nope. not buying it, right? And I was like, okay, and I'm writing this book for guys, and then just no. So I banged out the storage auction book. But another thing that came from being a salesperson is you learn how to deal with rejection. It's never easy. It's never easy. It still hurts. You do stuff and it doesn't work out. But when you put yourself in a sales position and you go talk to people and you're going to get rejected every day, you're going to pick up the phone. Hey, I want to schedule an appointment. Click. I had people hang up on me. I never had anyone cuss me out. It never got that bad. Actually, I did. It's like, stop calling my fucking phone. I got that appointment because it became personal. But after a while, you get a really thick skin. And once again, going through this, becoming a salesperson, that's how I wrote my first book. Because when I got that first bad review, I didn't go apart because I've lost major sales. I've had someone say, look, you were in the running, but you screwed up here. I got used to and developed a mechanism how to handle rejection. There are many of you out there that you get rejected. You ain't doing this shit no more. It's like, nope, I'm not doing that no more. I'm not getting on that horse. I'm not riding that bike. I'm not ever asking another woman out again. Not doing it. Nope, nope, nope. I'm going to sit here on my mama's floor print couch and pet this cat. There are guys out there that hadn't had a date in years. There are women out there who hadn't had a date in years because they got rejected or something went wrong or something went sideways or something went really, really horribly awry. And they got their little feelings hurt so bad they could never step up to the plate again. When you become a salesman, many of the things that people think are life-altering, that shit happens to you every week. People steal your deals. You bring people in. They take the deal. They cut you out. You learn so much by being a salesperson about people. It's ridiculous. You get to the point where you start to see the game unfold. It's like, okay, her eyes just crossed like that. She's getting ready to fuck me. And then when you get really good, like when I worked at the last office furniture place, the owner was screwing us, not in the manner that we enjoyed. There was some racist shit that went down. One morning, I was the last one to the weekly sales meeting and come in. And there's Jim talking about, it was Ken talking about Jim was an owner that weekend. I told some of my friends and they all was like, fuck that, man. I would just walk down and say, fuck it, I quit. But I'm a salesperson. We handle adversity. That's all right, guys. We're going to start the sales meeting. Went in there. I was the only black guy that worked there. So at that point, I knew the environment was not a long-term situation. And I sat down and I came up with a plan. I didn't walk out. I didn't quit. I didn't go ahead and like, hey, this place is racist. And they need. It was 15 of them and it was one of me. The reality was the culture was that way for a reason. It wasn't going to change. Only thing I could control was myself. So I crafted a plan. And like a week later, that's when I got the deal where I was selling the furniture on the side for the other company. And I took a lot of customers with me when I left. My revenge cost them money versus me getting mad like a little bitch and walking out. That's what happens when you become a salesperson. You learn how to deal with adversity. So when I was talking a few minutes ago about finding one of those commission jobs and going out there and putting yourself to the test, you will increase your endurance, you will increase your discipline, and you will increase your bullshit factor. Many people, oh, I can't find a job. I'm going to kill myself. Oh, I can't find a job. I'm going to start drinking. Oh, I can't find a job. I'm going to start doing drugs. Your bullshit factor is very, very low. A little bullshit, your life is just completely comes apart. But when you become a salesperson, you can go through horrible shit and come out on the other side a winner because as a salesperson, I didn't get that sale. I'll get the next one. I didn't get that sale. I'll get the next one. And that is a reoccurring theme in life. Shit's going to go wrong. So all of you people out there talking about, like, I don't want to become a salesman, it could literally save your sanity. When I went through my personal bullshit in the labor pool years, becoming a salesman saved my life because I was put in a position where I had to perform. I went ahead and lied and did something unethical to get a job I knew I could do. I had no experience. So I'm up in there 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, reading sales books, reading books on how to do cold call because I was like, I got to make this shit work. That's what happens when you become a salesman. I didn't lie. I didn't manipulate anybody. And it was hard. But once again, self esteem and these things come from doing things that are hard. So this is how you become a salesman. Number one, you own that shit. I am a salesman. And then you go out and you find something that you like, not love, like, not passionate, like. You like cookies. You're not passionate about cookies. Then you apply yourself. You set goals for yourself, okay? We're going to take cookies. No, no, no. Cookies are too delicious. We're going to take pink bunnies. You're going to sell some pink bunnies. Your goal is, I am going to sell one of these pink bunnies a week. And what you do is when you get to that one sale, and for the month you've had 4 sales, next month I'm selling 2 pink bunnies. And then you keep rolling that and rolling that till you're selling 10 pink bunnies. Then one day you're going to look up and realize you sold more pink bunnies in one day than you did in the previous month. And that is the journey of a salesperson. It's not about being slick. It's about application of effort and discipline. Because most people are decent. Most people are normal. If you come to them and present them a good deal and you did your research, you got a shot. Which brings me to the biggest part of how to become a salesman: mindset. There are many people who feel that they are totally screwed because they're a woman, they're black, they're old, they didn't go to college, they didn't graduate high school. So because of something that happened 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, that event that happened way back there, you're screwed today. Now, if you committed murder and you're in the pokey and your cellmate's name is Leroy, okay, I agree. But if you didn't kill anybody, that's not you. That's not your life. But people get stuck on that stuff. So you got to change up your mindset and just say, hey, someone posted in Hustler University this thing about Dr. Dweck. Well, actually, I knew about her. And she wrote this book, The Growth Mindset. And it was just, it was an infographic, and it was just talking about all the stuff I've been talking about for the last 5 years. You have to think you can do it. You have to think you can do it. And when it doesn't work out, you have to go, okay, well, I was stupid on the presentation. I was late. She was a lesbian. No, I'm just kidding with the lesbian thing. I actually sold more shit to lesbians than I did to straight women. Essentially, you have to own it. You have to own it. You have to really, really see yourself making these sales. Then you just keep at it and you keep swinging that bat. And one day, it's going over the fence, and you hit that home run. And you've made that deal. And that is the journey of how to become a salesman. And the reason I'm pushing this, I'm really, really pushing this, because I'm changing my orientation. I'm hopefully trying to keep the promise of not doing any more eBay or Amazon videos, because what I believe is the best way to go is for you all to create your own products. Or if you don't create your own product, find one that you can champion and sell the shit out of it. Because I'm just looking at what's happening. I mean, I get these emails. It's like, hey, I got kicked off eBay. Hey, I got kicked off Amazon. And these people were eBay and Amazon top heavy. And the thing is, I want you to think about this, because, I want you to deconstruct this. If you're a salesperson on Amazon and you're a salesperson on eBay, then if one of those or both of those platforms say, Avita Zang, as Hadi Kuhn used to say, then why can't you just pop up and sell something else somewhere else? Why can't you replicate that process? Why can't you just like, okay, they got rid of me, I'm going to go do this over here? Because you're not a salesperson. If you were a salesperson, you'd be like, fuck Amazon, fuck eBay. I'm going to do my own damn thing. And you go out and do it. That's what I did. Because I'm a salesperson. And you can become one too. It's a matter of persistence. So this is what you do. You go ahead and you write a goal that you're going to become a salesperson this year, that you're going to Sell some stuff. You're going to make some money aside from what you're already doing. You're going to learn how to do deals. When I wrote the book, How to Pimp Craigslist for Fun and Profit, many people enjoyed the section where I was talking about personalities. Because if you have so many ups and you deal with so many people, you just kind of like develop these patterns. It's like pattern recognition. It's like, oh, I'm dealing with this type. And since you know you're dealing with that type, then you have a counter argument or a counter presentation to deal with it. Or you know that, hey, this person's not going to pay the price I want, and you just get rid of them and move on. That is what you do when you're a salesperson. That is what you do when you want to be bigger than you are. So that's pretty much it. Just wanted to put that out there, let you know what I was thinking, and just saying, I've been where you are. I didn't know how to do this shit a long time ago. I didn't know how to do it. It was trial and error, and I just kept at it. And the thing is, I realized that I was stupid. Many of you out there don't think you're stupid. You're like, hey, I'll figure it out. If you hadn't figured that shit out now and you've been trying to figure out that same problem for the last decade, you are not going to figure it out. You're not going to figure it out. The same level of thought that got you where you is ain't going to get you where you want to go. Think about that. I said it grammatically incorrect for a reason because I know I get picked on. But that's the thing. You got to really, really think about it. I knew I was stupid. I knew I needed help. That's why I got books. That's why I spent money on Earl Nightingale's Lead the Field. I spent money on my education because I knew I didn't have these skills I needed. And what's funny is here it is, 2014, and I am still stupid. There are still many things I don't know about. There was a hangout and someone asked me about, flipping websites. I know nothing about flipping websites. I didn't even look at that stuff because you get the domain names, you sell it. I didn't want any part of that. That's a whole new skill set. I mean, there are people out there making killer money doing it. I had no interest in it. So if I don't know, I'll tell you. It's like I don't know because I know that I am stupid, and I know that I need more training. I know that I need more education. And when I say education, I'm not talking about college. Education is learning something new. That's education. It's real simple. And as long as I realize that I'm stupid and I still have many things to learn, I'll be okay. But the minute that I think, ooh, I know it all, I'm in trouble. And there are many of you dissenters who watch, who use my name to get on my feed and stuff, which is so funny since you hate me. You think you know it all, but you're still trying to figure it out. But you never will until you admit that you're functionally stupid. And until that point, you're going to continue to make the same mistakes. You're going to continue to hit your head against the ceiling. And you're just not going to go anywhere. I've got one of my clients who damn near doubled his monthly gross revenues. Listen to me. Damn near doubled. I mean, my consulting fee's been paid for the whole year from 1 month. Plus profit is still in that deal. And I'm just giving these lessons that I learned. Become a salesperson. Learn how to sell stuff. Learn the process because it will help you with job interviews if you still want to do that after listening to me. It will help you with getting to college if you want to do it. It will help you in so many areas of life. It's ridiculous. So just something for you to think about. All right, this is Glendon, and I will see you on the good side.